That was Franz Liszt, Hungarian Rhapsody #1 with the Gewandhaus Orchestra of Leipzig. I'm Katelyn Matson, and this is The Green Room. Mark Gard is the current president of the Kansas Music Educators Association. They are hard at work getting ready for next week's conference, and I have him here with me. Hello.
Hello.
It's so wonderful to speak with you again. And we found each other here talking together at this time last year. How long a term is your presidency?
The actual term of presidency is 2 years, but the entire process is 6 years. We do 2 years as president-elect, sort of seeing how everything works, how everything runs.
Mhm.
2 years as president, and then starting March 1st, I will be doing my 2 years as past president, and I'll be sort of mentoring, helping the people that are coming up to take my place. So it's an efficient system.
The Kansas Music Educators Association, which I'm going to refer to as KMEA from here on out.
Okay.
Uh, it's such a huge opportunity for student musicians to be involved. And it's
Yes.
a year-long process. How does it begin in the fall?
Let's see. Well, actually, it starts even in May, really, of the previous year, because that's when they sort of start letting students know exactly what the pieces are that they would be auditioning with.
Mhm.
So they have the summer, and then there's some different opportunities that kids can be working on their audition piece. There's some different opportunities that they can be doing in the summer, but then also there's different schools, colleges that offer some also tutoring. They can be working with some of the people there at the colleges, the universities. And then they pretty much everybody that's interested in doing one of the all-state groups, they first of all audition for a district level ensemble, either choir, band, jazz band, or orchestra. They do the audition for the district level in November. And once they are selected for the district event, then they are eligible for the state event.
And it's such an honor to be selected for one of the state ensembles. And then the kids continue to prepare, and they travel to Wichita every February,
Yep.
and they take part. And how long the conference? How long is it? It's a multi-day affair, isn't it?
Yeah. And we're even talking about possibly extending it a little bit for the next year, but that's something that's still in process. It starts officially at 1 o'clock on Thursday, and this year it'll be Thursday, February the 23rd. I think that's Thursday.
Yes.
Right now, everything's sort of running together, but anyway.
It is. It's
But yeah,
Thursday.
we start officially at 1 o'clock on Thursday, and then the last concert that is actually done is finishing up about 5:30 on Saturday.
Mm.
So it's the bulk of 3 days.
And it isn't only the students participating in these select groups that they've auditioned for, but you have um, anything from elementary school to college aged students whose organizations, whose schools have been selected through a taped audition.
Yes, yes. Let's see, I can't remember the exact figures right now, but I know we do have 2 elementary choirs that'll be performing. We do have a middle school orchestra. We have a middle school band performing. We have a middle school choir that's performing. It is hard to, of course, accommodate everybody who auditions. So we do have listening committees that listen to the specific. There's a group that listens to the elementary ensembles. And it's a blind audition, so they're just going from just the recordings. But there's a group that listens to the elementary. There's a group that listens specifically to the orchestras. There's a group that listens specifically to the choirs, and a group that listens specifically to the bands, and then also one that does for the jazz bands. So again, it's a pretty efficient system, but there's probably about 39, 40 ensembles that were selected to actually participate as their school or their community ensemble.
There's so much more to cover about the workshop, and we'll continue talking about it, but we're going to take a small break and listen to some music. Mark Gard, president of Kansas Music Educators Association, KMEA, which takes place next weekend in Wichita, beginning the afternoon of Thursday, the 23rd,
Yes.
and it's all over by Saturday night, the 25th. We'll be right back and talk more with Mark Gard. The Prelude to La Vallee, an opera by Alfredo Catalani with the NBC Radio Symphony Orchestra. I'm Katelyn Mattson, and this is The Green Room. Mark Gard is the president of the Kansas Music Educators Association, KMEA, and State KMEA is next weekend in Wichita. Certainly, as a student musician, hands down the most exciting thing to happen during the year. It is young musicians state basketball. You know, it's a musician's, first place trophy, and it takes a lot of work to be acknowledged, and certainly these wonderful young musicians deserve it. We were talking a bit off the air about the number of musicians, how understandably so you saw a drop in the numbers because of COVID. Students able to take part, maybe even the quality of the work. As we lived a year, some of us longer, without being in person. So tell us a bit about how you have seen things rebound.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. In 2020, we were able to do it in person before everything sort of shut down. 2021, we had a virtual conference, and that was quite an undertaking. But we still tried to, sort of do business as normal. But it was just everything was remote. 2022 we were back in person, and numbers were maybe a little bit. Still people recovering, people were not sure about submitting auditions just because they hadn't met in person for a while. So they weren't sure about the quality or just, exactly the instrumentation, but we are seeing a rebound, which we're very happy about. I mean, we're still coming out of it. And I think there's still some people that are maybe just a little bit tentative. But yeah, numbers are improving. We are rebounding. So that's very encouraging to see. We had more people auditioning this year. We had more groups we had more individuals auditioning for the different ensembles. We had more ensembles that were auditioning to be a part of the ISW, the conference. And then we actually had more people presenting clinic sessions as well.
Yes, and that's something else that you offer, because it isn't simply a workshop for students, it's a workshop for music educators. And there are clinicians and talks, and I mean, there's something that you can sign up for every hour on the hour, I imagine.
Yeah, and that's quite a logistical type thing just to get that all programmed, because we've got concerts going on, we've got clinics going on, we've got rehearsals going on all throughout the day, Thursday, Friday, and then into Saturday. So yeah, we've got content specific sessions, like for orchestra directors, for choir directors, for band directors, for middle school, for elementary. There's a designated elementary room where it's basically just elementary topics, and just on a whole range of different things: classroom control, bucket drumming.
Yeah.
So it's not the same thing ever, year after year after year. There's always new things happening.
Yeah. And it's also probably for you and for the other teachers in the state, music educators. I mean, you probably look forward to it as well. Aren't you seeing like your best friends in the world, everybody getting together, all of, everybody went to college together. You've known each other for decades. You found ideas off each other.
Exactly. Yeah, because first and foremost, I mean, KMEA, Kansas Music Educators Association. So this is our teachers conference, and that's actually more the focus, but just all state ensembles, that's been an outgrowth of it, but it's still very much a teachers conference. We have, we have a whole exhibits area where there's different people, different vendors that come, different colleges that come in and just talk about what they have to offer. So that's always wonderful as well. We have so many exhibits. I mean, we pretty much take up most of the
exhibition
expo hall at Century 2, which is a big.
You're the largest conference to use Century 2.
Yeah.
Year after year, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If my If the figures stand, yes, yeah. We are the largest conference that is in Wichita every year.
Yeah.
We have probably between six, depending on the year, 6 to 10,000 people in attendance over the course of the 3 days.
Yeah. It's such a huge, wide impact just across the board. I mean, I guarantee you, people listening right now, their children or their grandchildren or their niece. I mean, everybody knows somebody whose student went and performed at KMEA, whether they were a high schooler who made state ensemble or they were in another group that was invited to perform. I mean, everybody understands, I think, the importance of not just the conference, but the opportunity for the kids to perform. And just honestly, who are we kidding? The importance of music education.
Yes. And I'm gonna make that my segue. We do have some television spots that are going to be coming out. These were just developed. We had a grant through the Country Music Association Foundation so that we were able to put together some commercials that are going to be broadcast there in Wichita, well, through the Wichita station during the course of, I think they might be starting even next week. So look for those on TV. They're also going to be in the Kansas City area out of Topeka station. But we also have this commercial spot. It's actually, you can look it up. It's on our advocacy website. And I'm going to just quickly give you the address for that. It would be ksadvoangle.com. And you could actually, it's on the homepage right now for that website. But it features our Kansas students that are actually performing on that. It's just, it's a 45-second spot,
That's
but
great.
still it's featuring, music as part of a well-rounded education and what the benefits are. Miss Kansas, the previous year, Taylor Clark, she actually does some of the narration, but she's going to be a music teacher. So she's sort of leading the commercial spot, but it's again, it's KSADVOANGLE, ksadvoangle.com. And so if you wanted to look at that video, that little commercial spot we have, and that's going to be broadcast here within the next, few days. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I just hope you have a fantastic time. I hope everything goes smoothly. I hope you don't have an ice storm. All across the fingers for all of that.
We've had that before.
I know you have. That's why I said it.
Thank you.
State KMEA is at Century 2 in Wichita. Concerts happening throughout the entire workshop.
Yes.
However, the end of the workshop, that is when you have your state ensembles, the select group of high schoolers who get to perform. That is on Saturday afternoon. And tickets are at the door. You just get the tickets there at the door, or do you get them in advance?
You can get them in advance, but it's general admission, and there's except for maybe some of the elementary ones, they get really full. But no, it's a huge auditorium, so there's room, there's space, tickets available at the door.
Thank you so much, Mark. Have a wonderful conference this year.
Well, thank you very much.